first movie we should talk about. I want to talk about We Met in Virtual Reality. Who saw We Met in Virtual Reality?
I saw that one.
Great. Let's talk about it, Alan. I'm gonna put myself in the hot seat because I want to talk about this movie. This is a brilliant documentary that was shot in virtual reality. There's a thing called virtual chat, VR chat. Oh,
that's me.
Oh, what was that? Was that you? Oh, great. All right, Alan. So I want to talk about We Met in virtual.
Norm. Norm always gets shoved down to the one where there's always some icon over his face. You do.
I'm gonna
change
that. I'm going to change this, and we're going to. So I appreciate your patience here, folks. All right. So I want to talk about here's your edit point, Alan. Okay, here you go. I want to talk about the Sundance movie We Met in Virtual Reality. It is a documentary that was shot entirely in a thing called VR chat, which is sort of like this Second Life experience where you create an avatar of yourself and you interact with people. And it's visually amazing. I mean, it really is like the metaverse, right? This documentary was made right after the lockdowns. The filmmaker who created this movie shot it all in VR. There is no live action footage. He all shot it in VR chat. And it follows a bunch of people who were disconnected because of being, locked down. They had no way really to communicate with the outside world. So they went into VR chat. They made friends. One of the women in this movie actually teaches an ASL class, which is American Sign Language. She teaches it in VR chat. And I only know one off the top of my head, which is bullshit. That means bullshit. That's the one I remember. I know a couple others, but anyways, so also it shows a couple that meets in VR chat and actually gets married. There's a wedding. First of all, at first I thought this is weird. And then the feelings I went through was, this is really touching. This is really emotional. Now it's very much augmented by audio, right? You hear these conversations, people have parties, they have a New Year's Eve party, right? I mean, it's really incredible. All the kinds of life experiences you would have in real life. They actually go to the beach and drive on this Jeep, and they're playing music. They're doing all the kind of fun outdoor activities you would do in real life, but they're all in virtual reality. So part of me is like, oh my God, this is so fun. And then there was at a certain point, somewhere within the midst of the doc, I had this slow sinking, depressed thought of this is our future. We're going to be stuck in the Matrix. I really think this doc is, and it doesn't make any kind of broad sweeping generalizations about people. There's no judgment. It's fly in the wall. These are people who live in a VR space, and these are their experiences. Nothing about it technically, it's not a comprehensive documentary in that sense. It's more of creating a tone and a feeling. I was captivated by it. I found it incredibly absorbing and I don't know. I found it really worthwhile to see. Alan, what were your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think just the world that you're brought into is quite incredible, and I think the community that's being built is interesting. And I with like you, I have my reservations about that. I think it's a great place for people who feel marginalized, who feel kind of like outcasts in the world to come together and hide behind, so to speak, an avatar, and be able to develop social skills or to be able to develop a community. At the same time, though, I'm like, there's a frustration I have with, this idea of, we still live in the real world, and we still need to go out there and be able to, in a way, accept who we are, the way, our body shapes, our body types, our feelings. And I'm not sure that VR necessarily solves a lot of those problems, but that's not really an issue that this movie addresses at all. It really wants to show that there is a community for people who feel unattached from the world, to be able to find some kind of attachment. And so there's all this conflict that goes on. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know that I'm convinced that I would want to do this. Maybe, you got me into Second Life for some reason. So, you know, that's, you know, I liked it, but I have so many misgivings about it. And then the last thing is, this is, to me, it felt like the first step to the Matrix. You know, this is the first point where we plug ourselves into the computer, into the network, into the internet. And you know, is it a good thing? You know, Cyberdyne, here we come. Oh, you're muted.
This is what I actually liked about the film, is that it doesn't judge.
Yeah.
It just tells a story of people who are in VR chat and how they experienced the world and found friendships, and in some cases love. They play pool, they drink, they do like normal things. And you can actually physically hear, I mean, physically, audio wise, you can hear people drinking, and then you see their VR characters drinking. They sort of show VR chat warts and all, which is totally fine. But I really enjoyed this film because it didn't make any kind of judgments, right? It just specifically just showed, like, here's a story of people who got through the lockdown because they met in virtual reality. So it won't be the last documentary about this topic. I mean, you know, we actually do events about every month. This is true, we built a film threat cinema in Second Life. And we've been doing monthly events. If you just look up hashtag Film Threat Second Life, you'll actually see like pictures. We feature movies there. We're actually doing a movie in February. I don't know the date. It's The Spine of Night. We're doing a presentation there about that movie, and we got Lucy Lawless, Joe Manganiello, Larry Fessenden, and the directors of The Spine of Night are going to be in Second Life with us, having a conversation about the movie Spine of Night, where we show scenes from the movie. It's very R-rated, by the way. But yeah, we built this in Second Life because we want to be able to feature movies there, and movies that kind of tackle topics mostly related to tech and pop culture. And that's what we'll be featuring inside. And so I've had some experience. I hate to say, I freaking love it. Like, it's really fun to go there and you're like meeting these people and you're chatting, and like, it's kind of cool. It's different than what we're doing now. I'm kind of like, not everything should be a Zoom call. I mean, we're kind of on a Zoom call movie review thing, but yeah, I really enjoyed the film, and I hope you join us for this Spine of Night.
I'm still working on my avatar for that one, but
you're still working on your avatar?
Yeah.
Well, like, check it out. We'll put the link in the description of this to sign up for the Film Threat Second Life events. They're really cool. Come and check out our movie theater, and you'll get these presentations about indie film. We got a couple quick comments here. We'll go through these.
Has
Let's
anyone
see.
seen What If with John or not What If, How To with John Wilson on HBO?
No, I want to.
It's a phenomenal series, and it's unlike anything I've seen, and I highly recommend it to anybody. But they had this one aspect to it where he poses a question and then he goes down the rabbit hole, and one avenue led him to a group of people who were of an Avatar subgroup, the movie Avatar, and they dedicated so much of their time to learning the Na'vi language. And he went to a group where they all met in person, and it was amazing to hear from these people who were so either paralyzed with fear to be in public and so on and so forth, but they found a community within the online world, within this Na'vi, within this fictional world. And some of them saved her from suicide, and some of them fell in love. And it was so touching to know that they could be their best selves in this virtual setting that the real world wouldn't afford them. It reminds me of that.
Yeah, well, also, I feel like the Avatar, that's like a rabbit hole going down that's going to be like a furry situation. I kind of feel like that's where it's going to devolve. But
obviously, yes, that's why we do it.
That's where it all ends up.
I mean, that's why I heard about it.
Wait a sec. Let's go back to Frank the Bunny's comment. Frank, I want to get through these comments first before we get to our review. Frank the Bunny 666 says, and this is all before Zuckerberg's metaverse. I actually hope that I really think that if metaverses do evolve and become a thing, that it's decentralized. Part of the problem with social media is there are too many dominant social media platforms, right? There's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the money. That's it, right? I mean, there's fringe platforms, and that's fine. But none of them have speaking of avatars, Alan has mine. For some reason, I don't know why that's coming up for him. But yeah, I hope that there's not one dominant metaverse platform, that there are many. But get ready. You're going to have to get your property in there and whatnot. It's weebs and waifu avatars, basically. Someone says, Frank, VR chat, really? LMAO, we know what that means. And they'll buy them, Shinatsky says. They'll buy them out. Yeah, you're going to be able to buy. You may live in your pod, in your tiny $3,000 a month apartment or studio place, but you are going to be, when you're not spending time in the stacks, to reference Ready Player One, you're going to be in your VR world where you own a mansion that's a VR mansion, and you're going to spend your money on digital stuff and NFTs, and there you are.